In a quiet town where mornings arrived slowly and evenings lingered, there lived a young man named Oriv. He worked in a small workshop near the river, a place that smelled of wood shavings and oil, where sunlight slipped in through narrow windows and rested gently on half-finished projects. Oriv was skilled with his hands. He noticed details others missed. He worked carefully, patiently, and without complaint. Yet very few people knew his name. Across the street from the workshop was a crowded marketplace. Voices rose and fell there all day. People selling, bargaining, laughing, boasting. Among them was Rohan, close in age to Oriv, dressed sharply, always speaking loudly about his plans, his talents, his future success. He talked of opportunities before they existed and victories before they were earned. People gathered around him, drawn by confidence that sounded like certainty. Oriv passed the market each morning on his way to work. He heard Rohan's voice often, echoing above the noise. Sometimes Oriv wondered if he was doing life wrong. He worked hard, but quietly. No one applauded when he arrived early or stayed late. No one noticed when he fixed a problem before it became visible. At times, the silence around his effort felt heavier than the work itself. The workshop owner, an older man named Mr. Elias, noticed everything. His beard was gray, his movements slow, but his eyes were sharp. He had built the workshop from nothing decades ago and had learned the cost of every mistake along the way. He rarely spoke more than necessary. When he did, his words were simple. One evening, as the sun dipped low and the river turned gold, Oriv stayed late to finish a piece of work that no one had asked him to perfect. Mr. Elias watched quietly, then said, "You don't rush." Oriv paused. "I just want it to be right." Mr. Elias nodded. "That's Ray." Days passed. Rohan's voice grew louder in the market. He announced partnerships, hinted at big deals, spoke of success as if it were already in his hands. People listened. Some admired him. Some believed him. Oriv kept working. One afternoon, a large order arrived at the workshop, an important client from the city. The project required precision, patience, and time. Mr. Elias handed the responsibility to Oriv without ceremony. Oriv felt the weight of it immediately. He knew mistakes would not be forgiven easily. For weeks, he focused entirely on the work. The world outside the workshop faded. The market noise became distant. His hands grew tired. His back ached, but his attention never wavered. Each cut, each adjustment, each finish was done as if it would be examined closely, because it would be. During that time, Rohan's plans began to shift. Promises turned vague. Timelines stretched. The people who once gathered around him started asking questions. His answers became defensive. His voice, once confident, carried strain. The day the client arrived, the workshop was calm. The finished work stood quietly in the center of the room, solid and flawless. The client ran his hand over it, inspecting every detail. He asked who had made it. Mr. Elias looked at Oriv. He did. The client studied Oriv for a moment, then smiled. He said little, but his approval was clear. Before leaving, he spoke of future work, long-term trust, and steady collaboration. Word spread slowly, without excitement. No announcements were made. No claims were shouted. But people noticed that the workshop was busier. They noticed new faces from the city. They noticed that Mr. Elias began stepping back, letting Oriv lead more of the work. One morning, as Oriv crossed the market, he saw Rohan standing alone. The crowd was gone. The loud voice was quiet. Their eyes met briefly. There was no rivalry in that moment, only understanding. That evening, Oriv stayed late again. Mr. Elias sat nearby, watching the river darken. People didn't notice at first, Oriv said softly. Mr. Elias smiled. They never do. Real work is quiet. It doesn't ask to be seen, but it always leaves evidence. Oriv thought about that as days turned into months. His reputation grew, not through words, but through results. People spoke his name carefully, with respect. He remained the same, focused, calm, present. Success came without noise, without show. And in the quiet rhythm of his work, Oriv learned something that stayed with him for life. Those who build loudly often stop early, but those who build silently create things that last.